something the minister in Nigeria said. He said, formal education is not a solution to unemployment. We'll look at that story shortly. And I'd like to know what you think the solution is to unemployment. At 1 o'clock, the news update, and right at 2 p.m., there's been a story trending on socials. We'll look at that story, how it affects the person, the actor in question. And I'd like to have your take, on dating. We'll have that conversation at 2 o'clock.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
So the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, says that the solution to the problem of unemployment in Nigeria today lies in entrepreneurship and acquiring of vocational skills by the youth. Now, he said this while he was delivering his speech, which was titled Digital Literacy, at the luncheon of the Government College Ibadan Old Boys Association. The minister went on to advise the youth on the need to harness the opportunities that are available to them in digital skill and, entrepreneurship, which he said the federal government had provided. Now, so many other things that he said, but the one that really stuck out was the fact that he said the solution to Nigeria's youth unemployment does not lie in formal education. But he says it does lie in entrepreneurship, semi-formal and vocational education. Many years ago, maybe not too long ago as a matter of fact, think about the last 10 years in Nigeria and think about the position our parents held when it came to education. That was something that you could not discount. There was no way you would talk about being successful without talking about being educated or getting an education for yourself at whatever level. You get what I mean? So right now, we know that times are changing, times have changed, and there's a lot of transition going on right now in terms of the things that we set as priority and the things that actually define success. In saying a climb, for instance, in the US, in the UK, in other parts of the world, you would find that regardless of the fact that, yes, entrepreneurship, digitization, technology advancement is growing at an unbelievable pace, education still holds priority. So does this mean that formal education is not relevant in present day? Is that what we're saying? There's been lots of complaints about the quality of education, formal education that is, that we have suffered in Nigeria. So if we're saying right now, look away from formal education, it's not even the key to getting us out of unemployment in Nigeria, where does that leave the fight for a better quality of education? Where does that leave us in the quest for better infrastructure, for quality, high-skilled teachers, for an enabling environment to get an education? Where does that leave all of that? This is not to discount entrepreneurship, but if we're talking unemployment in Nigeria, what do you think the solution is? Would you agree with the Minister of Youth and Sports Development that it lies in entrepreneurship? Or do you think perhaps our formal education, that education sector in Nigeria, needs the change, the improvements that we've been gunning for years to allow for more employment. Right now, when you want to apply for a job in a company, for instance, in the banking sector or in the oil and gas, you will be required to have a certain number of years of experience. You can't come out and say, I sabi do am. Trust me, I can do it. And it's okay, well, what did you study in school? That would always be a requirement. We're still at that place. So when we say formal education is not the answer, what then is the answer? The phone lines are open. I'd like that you call in. Let's talk. 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. You can also call 0817 923 0007 or 0817 923 0009. Good afternoon.
Yes, hello, Gabby.
Good afternoon.
Nice Wednesday. Yes, good afternoon. Well, what I want to say is that entrepreneurship is not a new invention. You know, all these are leaders and make it look like it's one thing they discovered. You know, our parents, let me take my mom, for example, you know, she went to school, got a degree, served, got a job. Then on the side, she baked cake for people, did some weddings, this and that. You know, things like that. Started a sewing shop, tried some businesses, they failed and all that, but it was not as if she was doing it because the job and the degree wasn't serving her. You know, I think entrepreneurship is like, at least the way it's supposed to be, that you have, you can't be fulfilled with only one thing. So you do something else to balance that to get yourself fulfilled, to make yourself feel better, to express yourself in other artists or whatever, painter or whatever. So that's how it used to be. But when a leader is talking the way the minister is talking, it's just simply doing what Nigerians do. Instead of let's work out how we get to shower lights, no, let's get generators. The light problem will continue to doing the let's get to energy. You're just trying to shift shift from the problem. Instead of solving the problem, you shift away to something else and leave that thing to continue to rot in. That's what we do in Nigeria. You know, the telecoms that we're taking, other countries still have landlines in today. And it's saving them a lot of money in some kind of things. That's why they are calling police and firemen and all those things. It's very efficient. Because there are some things that landline is better for. Those things like that, when we were home, don't look for anything or anything that seems new and just let's shift away. So by abandoning regular education and white-collar jobs and whatnot, the sector will never improve. And every day we're hearing complaints about universities and higher institutions. Now you get first class as a bad thing, investigated, things like that. So I don't, coming from somebody in that position, I don't buy it. You know, it's not if you are coming from somebody else, from somebody's personal experience or something. I think it's your personal experience. But a leader that you're supposed to be there to fix all these sectors, then you start bringing us from lane. So that to distract us from what is supposed to happen. When I say there's a way things are supposed to happen. You know, right now, if you have a bump on the road, then you adjust yourself to fit into the bump on the road. But there's a way things are supposed to happen. Do not tell us that no, it's not this one no longer evolves or not evolves. They lie. Then why other countries have universities today and people flooding into it from all over the world and getting degrees and getting jobs there? It's not supposed to be like that. So things like that. So I don't buy one couple.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. 0817 93 0002, 0817 93 0003. You can also call 0817 93 0007 or 0817 93 0009. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
ID is the name.
Go ahead.
ID is the name.
Go ahead, ID.
It's unfortunate this statement is coming from somebody in charge of an institution that some people are offering as a course in the university. is appalling. The description of formal education is nothing but an improved entrepreneurship. If you go down into the history of education, before now, years ago, there were no universities. People go to people, stay under them and learn a trade. And over time, they sat down and looked at it and started to have satisfied authority. So,
are you there? Hello? All right, you're going to have to call me back. I apologize for that. All right, we've got some messages on Facebook. By the way, we're streaming on Facebook Live at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Ikechukwu Chinedu says, I agree with him. Education is not the solution to unemployment, not just formal education. All right. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Oh, yeah, I don't want to call me back. I mean, when we have conversations like this, it helps us cast our minds to, the years past. Again, like I said earlier, think about how you applied for that job. I know people who have been applying for jobs before and were required to not just provide, the number of years experience, but the qualification as well. There are many people who hold a third-class certificate who cannot get jobs or who find it difficult to get jobs because of that paper. I don't know of any bank, for instance, or oil company, for instance, or any institution, for that matter, that would employ a person who did not go to school. Yes, you can find that in the creative industry, people who have the talent, who have the skill, who've picked up, knowledge as they went, acquired knowledge online and all of that. But there are still certain career paths that it's compulsory you provide qualification for that. So if we're saying that it's not the key, it's not the solution to unemployment, what is really? Are we looking to create a nation where, education does not matter? Entrepreneurship is good, like I said. I'm not discounting that entrepreneurship is not. It is fantastic. But can a nation solely rely on the shoulders of entrepreneurship for sustenance? Questions? Good afternoon. All right, you want to call me back? 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007 or the female caller line 0817-923-0009. You're going to have to pardon me today. I have a cold and that's why I sound funny. So please pardon me as we go. Good afternoon.
Good day, Gabriella.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
All
right.
Definitely, formal education does not guarantee employment in this our country. At least I know if you see people that are doing well, most of them are vocational workers. For instance, you go to oil and gas, which is one of the most lucrative jobs in Nigeria. Those that receive the highest pay salary are pipeline welders. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
And most of them they just learned it. They have skilled job them. Most of them they didn't go to school to learn it. Then there is a recent part of this thing that is developing now currently. They call them UTD, MPI, all of these things. I carried out a research among those that working on oil and gas because I was opportunity to be part of them. I asked them, are you using any of you? I don't know if you are using your credentials, your paper, your certificate to work in this area. Most of them said their certificate have not put any food in that table. I asked them, MPI, they said the last 8 years they went to India to learn it for some months and write exam and get certificate. They give them PCN certificate to practice as a UTD or MPI personnel in oil and gas. They just work as SO personnel, people that watch the integrity of the welding. And most of these people, because of this discipline is not acquired in any university. The learning through vocation is a certification program. I just want to tell you, if you go to most of the wealth people in US, they will tell you that the most richest people are not, it's not really, it's not the most educated people. Most of them acquire their skill by inspiration, by their instinct. Most of them are genius, but they will not opportunity to do well in education. If you come back to Nigeria here, the political class are not the best people in the university. And if you check most of them out of class, from class lower, but the highest gurus in school then are not doing good job. Most of them end up as lecturers. How much is a professor saying that can compare to the salary of ordinary local government chairman? I'm not trying to tell young men not to be educated, but let us not forget about other vocational fields. And entrepreneur is another area. Agri is what land means. You can, go to any training for agri program and become a merchant in agriculture. So let us still diversify. Let's not focusing on education and not. Let me, I'm educated, but I cannot tell people not to go into education. But let us still diversify and go do other things. So be like me, if I have a child, my child just after this is master to learn a vocational job. So I go and do NTI or NTD program. So that your master's salary, your master's expenditure can be directed towards that to become a statement rather than spending much on your side. That's what I want to say. I'm done with my topic.
All right. Thank you so much for your thoughts. I've got Kel on the line from Warji. Good afternoon, Kel.
Yeah, hello, Gabby. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so, Gabby, I think there are different angles to this whole concept, right? Number one, you don't need to blame the minister. One, I mean, we're in a society where you say, for example, a 70-year-old man or 60-year-old man cannot work there. You can't employ him because you believe that his mental strength or whatever would have gone down. But we're allowing people at that age to become our president. That's one. And again, look at our institutions, Gabby. Let's be very honest. Okay, let's be very, very honest. What if they actually teaching, just like you mentioned, for example, remove medicine, remove law in particular. Tell me exactly, for example, people doing marketing in the universities today. Mm-hmm. What are our universities teaching them? In a world where we're talking about digital marketing, how many of our universities today can boast to have integrated digital marketing into their curriculum? Practical digital marketing. How about those that are doing computer science? How many of them today can we actually boldly say that our universities have integrated such things like mobile app development, web development to its highest level as at 2021? So you don't expect him to tell you that institutions that are still providing solutions to problems that no longer exist will be a solution to unemployment. Right? So I feel, yes, education is very important, but when it comes to formal, take for example, Gabby, your radio station, for example. Or will you boldly tell me today as we're speaking that 80% of everybody working with Nigerians will study mass communication? I don't think the answer will be on the positive. Go to the banks today, Gabby. Most of the people working in the bank, they study banking and finance and all that. Most of the industries today, require a new form of solution. But our tertiary institutions are not providing that particular type of solution. If that is the case, then we can actually say, oh, formal education is working. And then, just like someone mentioned, how about the lecturers and the professors and the teachers in this formal education sector? How much are they being paid, Gabby? If you don't know how to make money yourself, take University in your state here, in River State. Are they the ones paying their staff? How are they generating revenue apart from school fees and all that? Nothing else. So if you yourself can't make money, you don't know how to make money, you can't actually look for other means to create employment, how will you be able to train people who can do it? So I think the way you must approach it is completely wrong in my concept. We need it. I mean, I did chemical engineering. I'm running a tech company. And I can boldly tell you that I know what, having gone to school, I know the role it's playing. I know how much I'm actually leveraging on that to do a whole lot of stuff. But there are people that have not. Yeah, thank you very much, Gabriella.
Cal, thank you so much for your contributions. Sam from Iwofe, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Whoever designs education is himself. Nothing can be achieved on earth without education. And we should understand and at the same time appreciate the fact that education has various dimensions. We have both formal and informal education. We need education. An educated populace would definitely do better. Whoever says that education is not the pathway to the life of exploit does not really know what education is all about. And you see, why people always go for education, they keep educating themselves, they keep updating themselves, they keep arming themselves with relevant intellectual tools that enhance their productivity here on earth. So it is my personal view that education is vital for progress. So everybody should go to school. But the difference is that we will not all learn the same thing. We will learn different things. You see, the guys who deal on different paths are that they are all educated. They are also, in fact, education is the key. So we need education, and we need education. Thank you.
All right, Sam, thank you so much for that. Now, I want to understand what, trying to understand what the previous caller was trying to say, Kel, I think. It's one thing to say, well, time, again, like I admitted earlier, times indeed are changing, right now, like you clearly stated, you don't necessarily need to have studied banking and finance, for instance, to work in a bank. You don't need to, I mean, there are people who studied mass communication who are working in the banks, and that's a fact, so times are changing. But can you discount the role that education, going through formal education, actually provides for an individual? Think about the exposure, not just the certificates. Think about the level of reasoning and how it changes your perception and how you think. As a matter of fact, there is nobody that would say, oh, I didn't go to school, but here I am in the oil and gas, or here I am practicing as an architect. You cannot discount the fact that education is still priority. So in as much as there's a lot of room, there is such a huge, a room for entrepreneurship, for skill and creativity right now. The creative industry is booming globally right now. As much as there's room for that, you cannot take away the place of education. So if we're saying we don't necessarily need formal education, how then do we have medical doctors who would practice in the future? How then do we have qualified teachers who will teach our kids in the future? How then do we have specialists in every field, architects, engineers? How do we produce such people if education is not key? Beg your pardon. So, you get my point. Anyway, I'd like to hear from you. We've got about 15 minutes left on the clock. 0817-93-0002, 0817-93-0003. You can also call 0817-93-0007 or 0817-93-0009. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Prince Onfro.
Go ahead.
I want to say that it depends on the angle the minister is coming from. If now I wanted to say that he's right in one aspect, but depending on the way he puts the word. If we are talking about formal education for the first place, formal education is we have three different institutions. We have the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary. But if he's saying that maybe the tertiary aspect is not just what will give you job or everything, then I can say, okay, somehow it's correct. But if you say formal education, as I know, formal education is irrelevant. As I tell you the truth, it's still relevant because now, if you want to depend on, there's a place you go to look for a contract, and sometimes they ask you to bring quotations. If you don't go to France, you don't go to school, you don't go to anywhere, how are you going to write quotations? In some kind of, maybe even some security job, now the employer maybe asking you your credentials as well before they can employ you, because you need to write plate number, you need to write names of people. Are you going to use it? You don't go anywhere at all. Then you're able to draw those things. No. So no matter the Nigeria is coming to this time around, at least the formal education is still relevant, it's still top priority. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts. Keep your calls coming through, 0817-93-0002, 0817-93-0003. You can also call 0817-93-0007 or 0817-93-0009. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Michael Chima.
Go ahead, Michael.
I want to talk about the education. You know, the real problem we are facing right now in Nigeria is that some people mistake schooling and education. You know, if you compare this, it's incomparable. You know, why some people go to school and they focus all their life entirely in the school with the certificate they have. So that will make the country not to grow. Because when you do not grow, the country will not grow. So the best thing to do is that when you are going to school, you look for more things to do to educate yourself. Someone that did not go to school can call it be educated. I know as I'm speaking to you, I got in primary school, but that is not a data for me not to go to the high level that I want to go in life. I'm a pilot engineer. So any contract that you tell me, I can deliver perfectly well for you. That's why that I did not go to school. I don't allow that to intimidate you. But some people do go to school, but after you out of the school, they don't have what you think. Imagine when you see a professor that I have not had this, but you cannot handle a family. Cannot handle enough to give or work in the office or handle for you. Cannot handle it, cannot or handle it all. So that is not fair, people. So let's say that you take schooling and education, they should go and educate themselves, because even when you are still 80 to 90, you can keep you educated if you want. But in terms of going to the school, then you let every other thing that God gives you, the talent that God gives you, you let them on one side. Then because you are looking for a certificate, that will make it to be useful to the country we are.
Thank you very much. Billy from Akbajo, good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, thank you. I am Billy.
Yes, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, you see, Nigerians have interest in education, and they always pursue it. But there are other examples that have come to them that made them to be disinterested in this thing called education. For instance, in a company, a staff who is having skill is well paid, properly paid because of his skill. And it appears that the Europeans who came here were emphasizing more on the skill than anything else. Are you a welder? You know, are you a scaffolder? Are you this? Are you that? And so most of our boys now left and went into such trades just to belong to those companies. And they also discovered that most of the Europeans that were in the company did not have the qualifications they claimed. In fact, it is experience that made them, slack. Experience. When they have discovered that a particular person, not from this country, has no qualification, but has just done practical work overseas, and then the company brought him from there to do the same work here. They were discouraged, and they went into looking for handwork. Now, these are the kind of things. You see, if it was not compromised that our people were carrying on here, it will not have happened the way it did. So they now pursue skills without formal education, just to acquire skill and get that same high pay. Some of them succeeded because of performance. Some did not. But all in all, they are able to get the work and be retained in the company. So, why are our people always compromising things? That is where we lack. You see, because if we say this is this and we stick to it, there is no reason why our people will not follow it as a standard. And we are handling here to establish standards. I don't know why we are like this. We don't like standards. We want to cut corners. In any case, you all know how we have grown and how we have reached here.
All right, Billy. Williams is calling from Mother George. Oh dear. Apologies, Williams. Do also call back. Let's see. We've got messages on WhatsApp. Lady U says, "Hi, Gabby. The minister has a point. But ironically, we focus on paper proof, that is a certificate, and not skill proof. That's why the expatriates sent here from other parts of the world can do it, while our paper graduates can only read it. If formal education, though essential, is the key, why do we have so many unemployable graduates and even non-performing ones? Employers in Nigeria focus on paper because that's how we do it here." All right, Lady U, thank you very much for that. Bob says, "Gabby, the reason those who read mass comm and even engineering are able to work in a bank is due to their exposures based on their formal education. Unfortunately, the minister was looking at work and transport ministries headed by ministers who studied law and English, respectively. A professor of School of Health read agriculture, square pegs and round holes. That is why Nigeria has failed." Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Please turn off the radio and go ahead.
It's progress. What the minister meant is totally relying on education. It's not good. Because when we look into the system, a lot of universities, over 120 something or 30 about, are producing graduates. Some are well educated, but there is no employment. So looking at education automatically as something that gives you employment, it's wrong. So if I understand the minister very well, he was trying to say that education itself is not an automatic solution to unemployment. Let's assume all the 100 and something universities are producing maybe 1 million graduates or educated persons that lack employment at the end of the day. You discover that these graduates are actually going to be jobless and rendered into peculiar situations. So I didn't understand him saying that education is totally irrelevant. No. He was trying to say that assuming that education is an automatic employment to oneself, it's self-deception. That is the way I understand him. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Francis is calling from Transamadi. Good afternoon, Francis.
Good afternoon, Gabby.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. I think we should not confuse formal education with acquisition of certificate, otherwise known as the buying of certificate. We are made to know that education is the bedrock of every society. With education, human can make discoveries and make necessary contributions, positive contributions in that matter to the society. Our problem in Nigeria, I think, is because most people pass through the school without allowing the school pass through them. Take, for instance, our engineers today. How many of them can design anything that will meet with the standard of any equipment in the world? But we have them. Every year we turn out thousands and thousands of engineers without them contributing anything to the engineering sector. And so, likewise, other sectors. So the problem we are having is not as if education is a bad thing. We also have people who went to technical schools. It is expected that when somebody goes to technical school, by the time you are out of the school, you could be able to do one thing or the other based on your discipline. How many persons today who are out of technical school that can boast of doing anything in their professions? So the problem we are having is because we are laying much emphasis on certificate, and anybody who goes to any formal institution is only interested in that certificate. He does not care the way and manner he gets it. Just go there, spend 4 years, spend 5 years, spend 6 years, as the case may be, and come up with certificate. You are a graduate.
All right, let's speak to Bright. Oh, sadly, I lost Bright's call. That means you're my final call, Francis. We're going to wrap the conversation up right now. At 1 o'clock, the news update, and right after further conversations. Don't go away.